sellout number 400 will be on a Friday night stage in Lincoln. Like it or hate it, this is it. This is the deal. You're playing this game on Fox National TV on a Friday night. You know there was going to be some blowback maybe from the high school community with high school football that gets played on Friday nights.
Okay.
This will be the 5th time now since 2017 Nebraska's played a Friday night game, but the first time since they've been in the Big Ten that they've ever had to play a home game on an off Saturday, non-Black Friday. So it is a first, but to add to this, that game is also projected to be the 400th consecutive sellout of Memorial Stadium. So there's a lot of thinking there. And you know me, I'm always on the optimistic glass half full side.
Yes.
Don't make this a negative. Treat it as a positive. Hey, we get this great national television stage, 7 o'clock on Fox TV, to showcase the 400 sellout of Nebraska, a monumental day for college athletics, college sports. Instead, otherwise, this game might have been played at 11 a.m., buried on the BTN, and it would have got really no recognition.
Okay, Sean, so what's happening right now is you not only look like Troy Dannon, you sound like Troy Dannon, Nebraska AD. And you know what? You know what's going to happen now? I'm not only going to look like a sports writer, which I probably do, I'm going to sound like one. Let's just be real about this, okay? This is money. This is the Nebraska as a multimedia deal. Fox is part of it. If Fox told Nebraska to go play in Winnipeg on
Mexico
a Tuesday
City,
night, yeah, we would all say, okay, we can do that, and it'll be fun.
I'd get a sponsored trip to go out there. we'd have a hell of a trip.
I mean, there's not really much in my mind that goes through my mind except for that. Now, you do definitely have to be sympathetic to the high school community for sure. And also the businesses in Lincoln, which, I mean, this is taking money out of their pocket, right?
Why would it though? I mean, Friday people be down here all day partying.
Not the same though. I mean,
yeah, I mean, but Saturday it opens the door. I don't. You're right though. It's going to take away.
Yeah, hey Dan, you can't sell that part to me. That it's not going to affect the downtown. Oh, not just the downtown business. It's just businesses all over.
Friday will still be a good day.
It will be. There'll be money flowing. They're just not as much.
And this is if you're Nebraska for this 400 sellout, knowing it's a Friday night, you got to make this an all-day celebration of the greatest fans in college football. You've got to do the fireworks and the drone shows. It's a night game with the light show. I brought up the idea, maybe have a concert somehow worked into this thing. I don't know where, maybe not in the stadium, maybe outside, do something.
Maybe in after
unique. I had one guy push back, Husker Villain on our board. He's kind of the negative Nelly.
What did he say?
Great idea. Let's start a concert after 10:30 at night.
Well, okay, I get that.
But that's when a lot of concerts go pretty late anyway.
Right. You could have a small concert.
Just like a half-hour concert.
No, I get where you're coming from, and I don't think it's a bad idea. But I think your sort of prevailing attitude toward it is correct. Just make it special and positive. And you know what? It won't be hard if Nebraska comes out, takes care of business against UTEP, beats Colorado at night, beats Northern Iowa like it should, and they're 3-0, and Dylan Raiola, it looks good in those 3 games or looks, good enough. There'll be no problem with enthusiasm at that point, Sean. I mean, if Nebraska's 3-0 with a win against Colorado at night in a highly anticipated night game, I don't think enthusiasm for Illinois will be an issue at all. Okay.
This stat blew me away, but Nebraska has not opened a season with a conference game as like their first conference game at home since 2017.
Wow. Well, see, now that's a positive. They haven't won. Well, they haven't won an opener. That's irrelevant. But they haven't opened with a conference home game since 2017. Wow. So anyway, yeah, it doesn't. I'm a little surprised by the negative reaction. I don't know how much you've heard. I haven't heard a ton. For instance, negative reaction. I heard on the radio that if things wouldn't go well, maybe in the first 3 games, that you'd be looking at a crowd in the 50,000 range.
I don't believe that.
Come on.
If they're 3-0,
yeah, if they're 3-0,
you're going to want to be down here.
Well, yeah, like I said, it won't be an issue. I mean, there'll be so much enthusiasm if Nebraska's 3-0 that, yeah. It's not ideal because of the 400 sellout, but I'm with you on this. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. I mean,
would you rather have this game be buried at 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
on BTN or something,
Mm-hmm.
where it just would? I mean, and you get the whole. What about the recruits? You know, like how get the
You
recruit.
get that, yeah.
But if it's an 11 a.m. game, they can't get there really either.
Right.
So it's.
I'm with you on this.
I mean, and look, they're not going to have any problem getting recruits to Lincoln early. The Colorado game's a night game,
okay,
and they're going to have the UTEP game potentially at night. We don't know. I'm fascinated, and we'll get into that in our further discussion here. But yeah, you mentioned the revenue and what's driving this. To kind of put it in perspective,
please.
Nebraska this past year roughly made about 38 million-ish, 39 million on tickets.
Ticket revenue.
This upcoming year from the media rights deal in 2024, Nebraska is on pace to make 70 million.
Yeah.
So when they first joined this league, Tom Osborne, if you remember, he was really in a rush to expand Memorial Stadium, get it over 90,000. They got it to 92,000 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And his thought was, we've got to keep up with the ticket revenue of Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. They're going to pass us up because they're going to make more money on tickets. To me, that's now irrelevant. This TV money by the end of the 2020s will be over $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
Ticket revenue is never going to come close to that.
No.
And that's why we're talking about players getting paid now. We're talking about a lot of things we never thought we'd ever talk about. But when the television revenue continues to climb, the Big Ten made $9 million more per team than the SEC did in 2023. And I know that chaps the hide of these SEC snots out there that think they're the best football league on the planet. A big part of it is the Big Ten plays.
They are.
They are
the
good.
Best.
But it bothers them that the Big Ten still makes more money. And the reason why is they play 9 conference games.
Yeah.
More inventory, more money, where the SEC chooses to play 8 and they replace the 9th game with a throwaway.
Right.
And they're okay with that. And so the Big Ten has figured out college football, the business of it.
They have. And you know what? On this podcast and on many podcasts going forward, we're going to talk about money. It's just what I've noticed in college athletics and what we talk about, what we do, it's so money driven that it was not like this in the 70s, 80s. We didn't hardly talk about money. We come on a podcast and talk about maybe who's going to contend for the Heisman or which team had the best defensive line. Now, you know what we're going to do on this podcast? We're going to talk about money about the whole time, right?
I mean,
money. That's what we talk about now. It's a financial network.
And I look back at the early days of the Husker Athletic Fund and how they got going, and they put
the Husker Athletic Fund.
They started the skyboxes, and these people signed 10 to even 15-year leases, paying $100,000 to $150,000 a year. We're like, holy cow, this is an incredible advantage for Nebraska.
Yeah.
Now that's still a lot of money. It's nothing compared to what this TV money is.
Yeah, you don't even think about it.
Like the skybox revenue was a separator for Nebraska, and it still is, but not to the level of what these TV contracts have become.
Right.
And the TV contracts are going to have games on Friday now.